Vroom, 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 vroom. Honk, honk. Get in, losers. We're going struggling. Vroom, 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 vroom. Hello, fellow warriors, and welcome to another ride in the Struggle Bus where every wheel is an empty triangle. Today we have another road rage for you. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but this is still probably my favorite series that I do on this channel. It's where we go over all things fighting. Fighting's really important and it's often difficult to teach, and so I've decided the best way to teach it is just to use examples from my own games. And so today's game is from a recent league game that I played, and it was a pretty violent one, and there was a lot of attacking and defending, and it turned into some pretty good fights. Fair warning on this one, the result of this fight might not be as gratifying as the others. Not all fights end in bloody disasters, but this fight did determine the outcome of the game, so it was a very important one. So with that introduction out of the way, let's get into this game. So we've got the board in front of us, and this is where the fight proper starts, but let's see how we got here. So I am white in this game, and black is playing an unorthodox opening, but I've played him a few times, and this is something that he has done to me a number of times, so I came into this game expecting something similar. So he's building, a Moyo pretty quickly, and we are just following our basic rules of going for the corners, then the sides. But at this point in time, black has a pretty serious Moyo going on. I tend to do poorly when I play against Moyos if I let them get too big, so I jumped in probably earlier than I should, but this is a playstyle choice of mine where I know if black gets a couple more moves over here, I'm going to have a lot of trouble reducing this. So I jump in, make a base, black takes the 3-3, and I choose to take the variation where I get a little more strength here. We give black a little bit more of a corner, but we get more influence here. And you're going to see later this influence becomes very, very important, especially with extending here one more time as opposed to playing here. When we do this variation, black gets a little bit smaller of a corner, but this cut here and or this peep is a little more dangerous when you only have these two stones as compared to here where you've got the 3 stones and you've got the extra liberty, and that becomes very relevant later in the game. So black plays here, and I decide to continue pressing into his Moyo, and we kind of start getting in a fight here. So black has some options. Black could just play something like this and let me live locally and take the outside, or black could play here, which pretty much is just going to cause a fight. Because this is him taking my base away, and so all I can do now is really run. And so that is what we start doing. I attach on top and just extend, just playing the moves that make sense to get my group strong. We need to make sure that this group is going to be strong, and then black gives me the timing here to choose to play away if I want. So this fully secures the corner for black and obviously threatens the d18 stone. The d18 stone is not important, especially since if I save it, it doesn't get me any eyes. So this group still needs to run, and if this group still needs to run, why would I bother saving d18? It's much, much, much too small in this situation. So here I take the time to actually strengthen this group a little bit, because I do have to acknowledge that I've got this weak group here and this weak group here. If I went to play away on this board, let's say I went to play here, black could press my group here, right? Force me to do something like this, and now be able to play a move like this where now that black's got this strength, it's going to be tougher for this group to survive. So I decided to help by taking away one of the weaknesses before the fight continues. So black played here, which I thought was a little surprising, looking to surround this group. And it was at this point that I decided to play a very aggressive move. And this is something I've been trying to do more of. I've been trying to make my play a little more aggressive than it has been in the past, we can look at this board and see we have an unsettled group here. We have an unsettled group here. We've got some good thickness. Black has an unsettled group here and this lone stone over here. So what I decided to do was cap this group, which is, a full attack on this group. Of course, I acknowledge that I don't really have the strength to really attack this group. This was more to unsettle this group so that I could lean on it with these other groups to try to get strength for there. And then also from a direction of play standpoint, I know that this side of the board is going to become very important after whatever happens over here. So I wanted to make sure I got the first stone here. Black, very unsurprisingly, moved in the direction to weaken my groups the most. So here, I decided to push one more time. I thought I could get away with this. I want some strength facing this direction. Through all this fighting, my goal here is to get strength on this side. My goal is to get my groups alive here while getting strength so that I can do something on the right-hand side. So black jumps, and now I'm going to start leaning on this group to get this group more strength and to try to connect this group if I can. Black, instead of pushing, which is, I knew that both options were available. If black pushes, I just get to push through some bad shape. And so black decides to jump here. But we have to keep in mind that there are now multiple cuts here that we can take a look at. So we're going to be using those. So I decide to push here, and black pushes one more time. I decide to push one more time, and black hanes. So again, at this point, we still have two cuts. So I first decide to take this one exchange, just to threaten to get this group alive immediately. It's interesting. This is the AI suggested move, so I'm a little happy that I was able to find this. Black does respond, and then I take the cut here. So this does a few things. The first thing it does is, obviously, there's this cut here. And then there's this Atarian cut here. So if black fixes this, I get to push through, which threatens to kill these two stones. So that's thing one. Thing two is if black fixes here, I can get this Atari and then capture this stone. So it'll leave this group okay. The other thing that this move does is it threatens for me to get an eye if I play f16. Of course, I can't do either of these things because doing this ensures that this group dies. And doing this also pretty much ensures that this group dies. So I can't actually do either of these two things because then this upper group is going to get surrounded. So I first need to make sure that this group gets out. But the main reason I did this is really turning this cut on so that I can capture this stone, not this variation, but this variation here. So that this group has a means of getting alive as long as any of this ends in Sente. So black wants to continue attacking this group. So black played here to take my eye away. So I know there's now no chance for local life for this group. I must run. And I have to use the weaknesses that black has to aid in that. The largest weakness I see is this cut. But again, I can't just take this cut because then black's going to play something like this, and I'm going to get fully surrounded, and I'm going to die. So what I decided to do was lean on this stone. What this does is now this really threatens the cut. It really strengthens the cut, and it leans on the weakness of this stone. There's a cut here, and this will be difficult for black to deal with. A normal response to this would be for black to extend, but now when I extend here, if black doesn't fix this cut, then these two stones die, and everything is great for me. So I played this knowing that black really can't extend. And so black immediately fixes the cut. Black recognizes how important this cut is and fixes it immediately. But this gets us good timing to get out ahead with this group. And so I just decide to push. It is the safest play here. We do not have the strength to take this Hane because black could threaten to cut here and then actually cut here. And again, we're surrounded and we're not going to be able to survive. So we do not have the strength to take the Hane, so we have to extend. Black looks to block down here. And this is fine. We still have our avenue for escape, and we go and we take this turn. This is a pretty straightforward move. I also could have considered playing this diagonal, but then that lets black potentially get another liberty here. I wanted to play this so that we had the option of Atariing the stone if it came to it. So black extends because black does not want me to be able to freely Atari this stone. And now we need to figure out what's the best way to keep on running. We have some options here. We can just continue pushing. We can play the diagonal, or we could do something like attaching to this stone. And I think all three of these are viable solutions. But I didn't like getting Hanade here. And the diagonal, it didn't seem to do what I wanted it to do. So in this case, I decided to attach to this stone. The other part of this fight, and one of the reasons why I started this, is black isn't alive here yet either. I'm not going to kill this group. Let's be real here. We know that when we're fighting and attacking, or we're both kind of attacking and defending here, the goal isn't to kill groups. Black did not go into this thinking he was going to kill my group. I did not go into this thinking I was going to kill his group. It's just a matter of where's our profit going to be. And again, I said I wanted to get strength on the outside so that I could go on the right side. And so this is consistent with that. I'm now going to lean on this weak group to try to get strength on the outside. So I play here. So then black plays the Hane here. And I thought long and hard because I really, really wanted this cut to work. The issue is this can get really messy. There are a lot of variations. It was difficult for me to read. I think this was probably the strongest response from black, but we get in trouble here potentially. I don't think we can play this because then black could jump out here, and I don't see what we're necessarily getting out of this. Black could also get this for free and then force me into bad shape. I didn't like how it looked. And again, we're still kind of getting attacked here, so I don't think we can find the timing to get aggressive. So I just decided to extend here. And this is a very solid, it's a very strong move, because this is a very real cut for black now. Now that I have the strength and there isn't the weakness for black to lean on, this cut is very, very dangerous. And this moves my group and my stones in the direction I wanted to be playing all along. Again, my target in all this was getting strength so I could go after the right side. So I extended here, and black extended. At this point in time, I had played the safe move with L10, and so I decided I could get aggressive now. And so I decided to play the Hane. And the reason I decided to play the Hane is the cross cut doesn't work. If black plays the cross cut, then I'm able to take this cut, which threatens to kill this stone and threatens to kill these two stones, and there's really no way black can get out of it. This Atari doesn't do anything, we just get to connect. This Atari doesn't do anything because we extend and Atari these two stones. And if we connect, these two stones are going to die. So really nothing's going to work for black extending here because of this cut. Black fully recognizes that and fixes the cut with the most efficient shape. And so you can see we're just kind of like jockeying for position and strength and power and leaning on the weak groups and poking at our cuts and fixing our cuts and talking about cuts. We have a pretty big cut here. And this is one of those moves that it feels painful to play, but we decided to just fix the cut. Just take the move, fix all of your weaknesses. This group is 100% safe now. So now it just comes down to, can I make sure that this group doesn't get too damaged? And black had the same idea and jumped in immediately. But if you remember, we had this little safety valve of a move here. So I took this Atari, black extended. And now that I've made this one exchange, now I blocked here. This will allow us to potentially come to B8 to try to get an eye. It also obviously looks to killed this stone. I had done a misread. I thought that this killed the stone, but it does not because black can play here. And after I block, black plays here. So I did misread this a little bit. Here, I wanted to be able to play this, but I think this ruins our day because we only have 3 liberties. Black has more liberties on the outside, so that isn't going to work. After looking at that and seeing that that didn't work, I also looked at this for a good long while. I thought that this would be a potentially helpful move, but I think the same move gets us just this Atari, and we can't do this because of the capture, and we could play this, but we don't get too much out of this. And so I decided to just Atari this stone. It comes in Sente because it threatens the connection here. If black lets us connect here, these 3 stones do die, so black takes this connection. So here, I still don't have 2 eyes, and so I need to threaten to get some eyes in Sente. And so I decide to play this move that I talked about earlier because this threatens to extend to b7, which if we get b7, then the group will immediately be alive. So let's just say that black plays here. I can sacrifice these 2 stones to play this. Black can't take this cut because we're going to be alive. And so the best black can do is extend. But you can see that we link up and we are all set. So black blocks. So we almost have an eye here, but not quite yet. We almost have an eye here yet, not quite yet. So we need to find some kind of sneakiness to keep us going. And so I decided to peep here. I played this move just to get us a little more shape and expose this cut. This is a big cut. It will continue the fight. It'll still very much be a fight, but then if we do take this cut, this group is going to be running this way straight towards our influence there, our thickness. So black can't just let us take this cut. Of course, black is going to find the best way to protect this peep. And often that is not just connecting the peep, and black does not just connect the peep. Black plays here. But now this is a very real threat, but we can't play it yet. It's too early. I need to make sure my group is alive first, and my group is not alive. But once this group becomes alive, this cut becomes very, very, very real. So first, let's go get alive. So I decided to take this turn here. This makes it now so that if I play d14, this becomes a real eye. Right now, it's not an eye. Even if we capture, this is a false eye. The other thing it does is it threatens to play c11, which will get us an eye, and it'll get us an Incente because it'll be the Atari. So black decided to play here to go and get this eye, and that is fine. We go and take this Atari here. Black connects, and now this was when I really thought, can I get away with this cut? Because this would be a very devastating move if it works. The issue is if black plays here, again, this isn't an eye, and this group isn't alive. And I don't think we win this Liberty race. I just don't think we do. Black, while it's not alive, has plenty of liberties here. This group has plenty of liberties, and we really don't have that many. So we simply can't do this. I needed to just play here, play the safe move, get my group alive, and now continue the fight. So the group is alive now. And so this cut is very real, and so black very clearly blocks it. So now the first half of the fight is over. And I mentioned this isn't the most gratifying fight because it just ends with everybody's alive. But there were a lot of traps here. Either player could have messed up and lost a group and just lost the game on the spot. But that's not what happened. We did this crazy fight, and now what? Well, we at least got these stones here, which gives us some strength against this stone. We've got this influence here. So this stone's in rough shape, And we can also potentially just get a lot of points here, right? We could consider a move like this to develop points. But I really want to attack the stone. I really want to play away from my strength. But there are a couple moves I would need to do to set that up first. So I decide to play this Hane to get me even more strength here. Also, we still have to acknowledge black isn't alive yet. Again, we are not going to kill black. But the longer we keep black weak, the longer we can play forcing moves that black will have to respond to. That's really what's going on here. So now that this group's alive, I've kind of changed gears and I've decided I'm attacking you now. And so that's why I played this move, to make sure that black can't just run and get more eyes. Black's going to have no trouble getting eyes over here, but I want to force him to do that. So black extends. So then I play this very forceful double Hane. And black really can't play something like this because I actually don't care about these two stones as long as I develop here. And this probably ends in Sente for us because if black, plays away, let's say, I don't know, black does something like this, we can do this squeeze and go back to attacking this group. So black here recognizes that there's no way for him to get eyes here, and he needs to live. Just needs to live. I did consider playing the very aggressive d5, but figured this was good enough. We would get Sente out of this, so we just played the typical variation. Black extended here. I wanted to Tanuki this, but I was looking at this as, when I attack this stone, my profit's probably going to be down here. And so I wanted to keep the strength, but more importantly, look to develop this area, because if you look at points on this board, we really don't have too many. And so we do need to protect what potential areas we do have. Then black plays this. I thought this was a weird move. I'm not sure the intent of this move. I'm sure he was probably just expecting me to play this. But I decided on this very sneaky move of this throw in here. If black captures, then we get this squeeze. All right, so it gets us J7 and Sente. And if black doesn't do anything about this, then obviously we can capture these 3 stones, which gives us all the strength in the world here to do whatever we want on the rest of this board. Black plays here, which I thought was very surprising. So black is clearly still afraid of what's going on here. And honestly, he should be. Of course, black can play here to get an eye in Sente, because we can't go after this now because of this cut that exists. Again, if we get cut off, we're dead. So I was surprised by this move because I didn't think black was in that severe of trouble. But now we have our strength here. There's nothing black can do. Again, if we play away, this doesn't work for black because we capture. The capture doesn't do anything because we have this squeeze. So we have Sente here. We get to play wherever we want on this board. And do you guys remember what our goal was here? Why did we do all of this? We did all of this craziness just to be able to get some stones here. That's really, truly all this was for, was to get some stones here so that I could attack this stone. That was the plan. That was the plan all along. And now we've got this influence here. We've got this influence here. Where's this stone going to go? My opponent decided to play here, which is playing closer to my strength. And we have influence here. Black is mostly surrounded, so we can play very aggressively here. And we chose to play very aggressively here and played this move. This looks to cut the stones. I think if we kill this stone, that we win this game. So black plays here, and I did a lot of reading on how I wanted to respond to this. This was the first move that I considered, but I don't like it because of this. This cut is dangerous, and if we play here, black can look to connect underneath potentially, so I did not like that. I also considered this, but I think if black just stands up, it gets difficult. I think we're in a bad shape here. So I just decided to extend, knowing that if he was going to Hane, which he did, that we were going to play the power triangle. Remember, guys, when you play it's the power triangle, when your opponents play it, it's the empty triangle. But in this case, it's truly a strong move. So the shortcoming of an empty triangle is it doesn't extend your liberties very well. That's really why empty triangles are bad. But from like a strength standpoint, it's very strong. It can't be cut. And so it's just, if you can handle the loss of the liberty, then it's still fine. And in this situation, I'm just using it as a cutting move. So then the crux of all of it is black comes and plays this peep. But remember, guys, we chose this variation for this exact reason. This peep is not scary because this group has 5 liberties instead of 4 liberties, and that makes a big difference. So we do not need to respond by connecting here. Just like when we played the peep over here and black found a good solution for it instead of just filling, when black plays here, we can find a better way to answer this move, and it is not connecting here. No, we keep the pressure on and we take this turn. So now this is me saying, your stone's dead, and you gave me this move for free, and you cannot cut these. You cannot cut these 2 groups, because if black plays here, I'm just going to extend, and there's nothing black can do because we have this, which threatens to kill the stones. And if black plays here, we go and we can kill the stones. So black plays here to look to connect. I think he realized that this was a mistake. We block, plays this hanging connection, so we take the Atari and then we connect. And now black has this group that now needs to connect out. If black tries something over here, or just Tanukis, I don't know, plays some move over here, now black really has to worry about this group as well. So black is now going to lean on our groups, poke at our weaknesses to get strength over here. But nothing too crazy. I just extend, go. He threatens to cut. We connect. We go and take this reduction and connect here. And we just take our declaration of victory, which is what I thought this move was. This was me saying, okay, this game is now over. I'm just going to take away any of the weaknesses that we have at all and take 6 points while we're at it. And white is ahead this game. Unfortunately, we ended up losing this group. We made a mistake. It got cut off. But fortunately, it did not matter because this area was just too large. So I thought this was a really interesting one. This was probably the most fun game I've played in a really long time. I thought for sure I was going to lose this game. I didn't think I was ahead during the fight, but I was really happy to see that I had made this plan and the plan came to fruition, and it ended up winning me the game. And I thought that was really fun. But more importantly, it was just a really cool fight to go over. And even if I'd lost it, I still would have gone over this fight because it was a very interesting one. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave this one for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I really enjoyed this series. So anyway, thanks for coming out for another ride in the struggle bus where every wheel's an empty triangle. Have a good one, guys.